Thank you all for coming. We're going to start with a quick video from Benfica. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming here by, on the end, Ricardo Maia, who's with Benfica, Julio Cesar, a legendary goalkeeper for Brazil, Flamengo, Inter, Champions League winner, a man who has won more trophies than any other goalkeeper in history.
Thank you.
We've got here Svilar, a record-breaking young star with Benfica. And here in the middle, we've got the CEO of Benfica, Domingos Oliveira. So Domingos, I know that your education and background is in information technology. Why at Benfica do you see sports science as an important area to target?
Well, in fact, it happened in 2005. I reached the club in 2004. And since 2005, we understood that we should collect as much data from the players and from the field as we could, okay? So the good thing is that we have more than 10 years of data around players. In some cases, players that are today in the club for 14 years, like Luizão. He joined the club in 2003. In other cases, players who joined the club when they were 10 years old. And the fact is that the richness of the data that we have today is something unique. And that's the key area that we are using in order to try to improve our performance, players' performance, and the team performance in the pitch.
What about one area in which clubs have tried to use technology is in finding and scouting players? Does Benfica use technology in this area? I mean, did it, for instance, play any part in finding a player like Milo?
Well, it's very useful in all areas in the club. I would say that there's a kind of two different areas. One is for sports, and the other one is for the commercial, finance, IT areas, okay? I will not talk about that one. Let's focus on sports. Inside sports, we collect data for scouting, as you just mentioned, and our scouting department has information about all players that we are looking into the market, but also for the players that we have in the youth deep. So that's very useful. What kind of data? When they are already in Benfica, for example, and these two gentlemen know that, we try to understand the way they sleep, if it's good quality, the way they feel in terms of stress, the way they feel in terms if they are tired or not tired, and then the GPS information that they have during the training sessions, during the matches. We collect all that information, which allow us to understand the way they behave. Of course, Julio and Svilar, they have different type of behaviors in terms of their normal life, in terms of the way they progress in terms of the pitch. So the information is really different from one and the other.
We saw in the video, Julio, Benfica players filling out like the questionnaires about how well did they sleep, what's their fatigue level, all these tests, all of these things. This is quite different from when you started as a goalkeeper 20 years ago.
First of all, I would like to say sorry to everyone because my English is really poor and I choose to speak English, Portuguese, sorry, and I brought my translator to help me. I'm so sorry. Fala. Qual foi a pergunta que ele fez?
Como é que tens fez a evolução da tecnologia desde que começaste a jogar? Hoje em dia, controla o seu sono, etc. Como é que vês essa evolução?
Bem, eu venho realmente acompanhando essa mudança, porque já são 21 anos de carreira, e realmente o futebol hoje está se modernizando a cada ano que se passa. E acho que só quem ganha realmente é o futebol. O espetáculo fica mais bonito, o futebol fica mais dinâmico. Eu lembro que na época que não existiam essas tecnologias, o futebol era ainda um pouco mais lento, mas o jogador também, ele fica mais profissional, se cuida mais, porque tem a responsabilidade perante ao clube de dormir cedo, se alimentar bem. E hoje são muitos jogos, o desgaste é bem maior, então não é só nos treinamentos que você tem que se dedicar, e fora dos treinamentos também. Então isso faz toda uma parte de um processo, né, de uma evolução muito grande durante todos esses anos que eu venho desempenhando esse papel de jogador de futebol.
Yes, indeed. I have a long career in football. Since I was starting, the football is evolving during these years. The football is slower. Now we have to take care of ourselves as a players at home also. We take care. We have a lot of responsibility between with our team and the clubs because we have to take care because we play a lot of games, and this is very important for football technology in football for our preparation.
Can you give an example of something that you do now in training and preparation that you didn't do 15 or 20 years ago when you began?
Exemplo que possas dar sobre essa tecnologia que não havia quando começaste a carreira.
Olha, acho que a situação de conhecer os jogadores individualmente, aquele que merece mais descanso, o que correu mais no jogo, eu falo do GPS nesse caso, né? Isso ajuda muito a parte do lab, né, e da preparação física a conhecer individualmente melhor cada jogador. E também uma situação que é novidade para mim, que é a situação da pulseira do sono. Essa eu costumo botar no braço da minha filha, né, para ela dormir. Mas é uma coisa interessante que ajuda bastante.
Julio spoke about the technology to take each player individually, how they sleep, how they eat, how they rest. It gives the example of GPS. It controls the movements, the velocity, a lot of. They track a lot of things, and he also the sleeping bracelets that he also uses with his daughter to sleep.
Mila, last month you broke a lot of records. The youngest goalkeeper to play in the Champions League, the youngest goalkeeper to save a penalty in the Champions League. Could we maybe get some applause for the young man?
Thank you.
I saw you do an interview after the game at Manchester United. You said, "I ain't gonna lie, it was magnificent to play and save a penalty at the Theatre of Dreams." How did you feel after the game?
Yeah, it was a bit like mixed emotions because we lost, and unlucky shot that came off the post and hit me at the back. But still, I felt very proud, and I was really happy that I played, and yeah.
What was your sleep quality like the night of the? What time did you get to sleep afterwards?
The day before.
No, after the game.
Oh, after the game, yeah, we traveled back after the game, so it was a long night.
Yeah, Jose Mourinho, Julio knows him well. Talked after one of the games about the kid. He plays with a lot of risk. Only a good goalkeeper can play with a lot of risk. What do you think he means by that? What does it mean as a goalkeeper to play with risk, and why do you play that way?
It's just my style of goalkeeping, so I didn't change it. I taught it like that, so I play like that always. So.
Domingos, when you see a young player kind of announce himself in this way and become a star, what do you think as a chief executive? Do you think, I'm going to have a lot of agents and directors on the phone to me now?
Well, the main issue is that we want these guys to stay in the club as much as we can, okay? But we know there's a market outside Portugal which is ready to pay fortunes to the clubs and to the players. So we understand that the situation, the Portuguese situation, it will be difficult to retain for many, many years. But yes, it's true that not only for guys who just reached the club some months ago, like Svilar, but also players that we have coming from the youth department, we understand that it will be difficult to retain them. But the key strategy is to generate additional revenue so that we can give them comfortable in terms of money and at the same time in terms of lifestyle. We take care of their families, we take care of them for any particular reason, and we want them to feel very comfortable. The city is a great city with a good weather, but apart from that, we try that they look to the club and they see the club as a great club to stay at least for as much years as they want.
As a goalkeeper, though, it's also difficult because there's a lot. There's obviously huge pressure. There was a mistake in one of those games. I mean, how do you deal with it? I wonder why. What is the attraction of being a goalkeeper, knowing that a game comes down to one moment and it can go so badly wrong? What makes you want to be one?
Because it's the post that is the most responsible one, and if you make a mistake or do something wrong, then you just have to forget it and go on.
The idea that a goalkeeper now has to also be a footballer, has to play outside the box, is this a change that you think has happened during your career, Julio?
Yeah. Não, é verdade, isso mudou na década de 90, se não me engano. E isso acabou atrapalhando até muitos goleiros na época, que não tinham muita técnica com os pés. Isso obrigou, né, os treinadores e os treinadores também de guarda-redes a começarem a criar esses exercícios específicos também com os pés, né? Hoje, o goleiro, sem dúvida nenhuma, o guarda-redes, desculpa, é um jogador a mais, né, tão importante como os defensores ali que jogam à nossa frente, porque hoje os times jogam muito com a defesa alta. Na minha época se jogava menos. E por isso o goleiro tem que estar muito atento e trabalhar bem essa situação dos pés.
The situation changed in the 90s when there was a big challenge for the goalkeepers to start playing with the feet, and many have difficulties in that matter. So they have to start training that situation. And nowadays, the goalkeeper is another player in the field, like a defender. It's so important, like a defender, a striker. So because the defense player higher defense, and so it's the responsibility of goalkeepers is bigger now.
Is there anything, Julio, that you know, age 38, having won 32 trophies, that you know today that you wish you had known when you were 18 years old and starting out like Mila?
Dos troféus.
Is there anything that you know at the age of 38 with 20 years of experience that you wish you had known when you were 18 years old, like Mila? You know, what would you tell yourself?
Ok. Bom, claro que quando você tem uma idade assim como a do Milá, você sonha alto. Mas realmente o que eu posso dizer é agradecer muito ao Papai do Céu por tudo aquilo que Ele vem me proporcionando ao longo desses anos todos. Nem eu, nos melhores sonhos, eu poderia imaginar por tudo aquilo que eu passei e venho passando. E em relação à mudança, quando eu tinha 18 anos, eu acho que a cada ano que se passa, eu acho que a convivência com jogadores mais velhos, eu acho que você vai aprendendo muito, você vai crescendo muito a cada ano, a cada treino. E eu acho que é isso que vai acontecer com o Milá, porque já é um jogador que tem um talento incrível. 18 anos aí já fez a estreia contra o Manchester United. É uma coisa incrível e eu acho que ele tem uma cabeça muito boa e tem tudo para se tornar um grande goleiro e, na minha concepção, até o melhor do mundo.
When you have 18, you dream high, and I have to thank God for all the moments that He gave me during my career. And important is during the career to learn with the older players, with his experience, and I take with that experience I evolve a lot. And Milan is a good example because he's a young player with a huge quality, and And I think that you have the opportunity to play in 18 years to do this first game with Manchester United. And I think at this moment is one of the best in the world.
I mean, you've achieved a lot in a short space of time, but I wonder, do you have career ambitions? Do you set career goals for yourself? Because, say, I think of, say, Cristiano Ronaldo, who is an exceptional player, but ever since the very beginning of his career, he said, I want to be the best player in the world. That's my only target, is to be the best in the world. I wonder what your thoughts are. What are your ambitions? What do you want to have achieved by the time you finish?
Yeah, of course, that's my ambition too, to be the best in the world. If not, it wouldn't be good. But you have to look step by step and to work hard every day. And I'm grateful to have this guy next to me, this old guy, who is learning me every day at training, and I'm very grateful to have made the decision to come to Benfica, to this great club, and to evolve here in this club.
You have another decision in that you grew up in Belgium, but your father is through your father can also play for Serbia. How do you make your mind up over which country to represent?
No, actually, I didn't even think about it one moment. I'm only focused at Benfica and at club level. So,
even though the World Cup is in 6 months?
yeah, I don't think it's time for me to think about that.
Yeah. Have you started to think, Julio, about what you are going to do when you finish with football?
Wow, it's a good question. I don't know yet. Sorry.
You don't know?
No.
Something in football or outside? You've had a successful career. You don't have to do. You could do nothing.
Maybe inside the football as well. Yeah, maybe in football, but I have another things to make it outside football. No, I have my business as well because I'm older now, so I need to think my future, my family's future. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna to do after I retired. Maybe I need to make 2 more years the contract with Benfica, and then I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Actually, Julio speaks really good English. Has been speaking
Now the
English
English,
all over.
when it's come to sign contract, the English is perfect, okay?
Domingos, European football is changing at the moment. It's changing very fast. The two outstanding teams in Europe today are Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City. These weren't teams that anybody thought about 15 years ago, but now they're arguably the two best teams. How do you feel? And clearly the reason is because of investment that they've received from Qatar and from Abu Dhabi. What are your feelings about this trend in football? Do you think it's something is it something that you're happy about?
Well, it's something that I think all clubs look with some expectation and some concerns in what comes to the future, because I think clubs should compete against clubs, but it's much more difficult or impossible for a club to compete against a state.
Mm.
And what you've seen in the last, I would say, 5 years is that with investments from Abu Dhabi and from Qatar in Manchester City and PSG, is that money is not a problem. And for all the other clubs, money is an issue, especially for clubs not in the big 5 markets. But even in the other markets, it's an issue. I was having discussions with Man United. The Man United shareholders expect a dividend every year, so money is important for them. Mm. So I think that UEFA should address this issue. We have very good relations with City, with PSG, but by the end of the day, if they have unlimited pockets, the competition will become much more difficult than we have today. So it's a concern, but I'm sure that Seferin president will address the issue in the coming months or years.
There are people who would make the argument that if money is being injected into football from the outside world, then that's good for football.
Yeah, but at the same time, football is competition, okay? And to have competitors, you should not only have 2 clubs who can compete among themselves. Okay, I think that the beauty of the game is that a club like Benfica can win a match against Man United, and a club like I don't know, Braga can have a draw in Sporting, and that's the beauty of the game. That it's unexpected. If the money is so high that you don't expect anything in terms of sports, in terms of results, then you are destroying the competition.
I know that you meet with other executives around Europe, people at clubs in different countries. Do you get the sense that within this wider European community of clubs, there is an appetite to do something about this situation? Because at the moment, clearly, what can you do? It's Paris Saint-Germain, it's Manchester City. What can be done?
As you mentioned, I'm part of the European Club Association board, and we had a discussion 3 weeks ago between the board, and all clubs are concerned about that, and PSG is also part of the board. And we will have in the coming days a discussion with UEFA. UEFA is very concerned about this issue, so I'm sure that we'll have news, as I mentioned, in the coming weeks or months.
But some people might also say, well, you've won the last 4 titles in Portugal. Is there going to be any competition in Portugal? Are you never going to give Sporting or Porto a go on winning the league title?
We expect always a competition in Portugal. The results are there to show that in some cases we are first, in other cases we are third. But yes, I think that the fact that we won in the last 4 years means something about the work that we have been doing in the pitch and outside the pitch, and about the quality of the players that we have in the club. But my competitors, the Benfica competitors, Porto, Sporting, Braga, Guimarães, I have to say that they have good teams, they have good coaches, and we expect a fair competition from themselves. By the end of the day, we expect to win, but good competition during the season.
What was your feeling about it, Milo? When Neymar joined Paris, it was like the sort of sensation of the summer. What did you think, watching that move, to go from a kind of a classic club like Barcelona to a new club like Paris? Was it something that surprised you at the time?
No, it doesn't surprise me because Paris in the last year has evolved to a big club. So they're all big clubs, and yeah, I don't know why he chooses Paris, but.
What about you? What about you, Julio? Were you happy to see that move?
O que foi?
Neymar to Paris.
You want him?
Neymar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a compatriot. You're a Brazilian compatriot.
Bom, o Neymar, né, como todo mundo sabe, foi o jogador mais caro da história. Eu acho que tem tudo aí para conseguir a tão sonhada bola de ouro, né? Porque acho que já virou uma obsessão para ele e ele tem todos os ingredientes para isso. É um garoto formidável e eu acho que hoje o mundo todo aprendeu a gostar do Neymar.
Neymar have all the conditions to win the golden ball. It's not an obsession for him. He's a great guy, and I think he have conditions to reach that goal.
That is an interesting thing. Just to finish on the Ballon d'Or as an obsession for Neymar. As team players in a team sports, what do you feel about these individual awards? Is it something which Neuer, for instance, was a goalkeeper who was in the Ballon d'Or podium a couple of years ago. Is it something that you feel is important to win an individual award, even though this is a team game?
Yeah, it could be important for somebody, but if you don't have a good team and you don't achieve your goals with your team, you ain't gonna achieve the individual prize also. So.
Okay. Well, Mila, Domingos, Julio, Cesar, Ricardo, thanks very much for joining us here today.
Thank you again.